Thank you for coming. Just wait a couple minutes while I yell at the people. I don't know why rabbis have to do that. I think it goes back to Moses. Okay, once again, we're asking the people to move into the sanctuary. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. On Facebook?
I'm just going to get started. I'm sure everybody's been in a service where the rabbi, the clergy person, has yelled at you for not being more people. And I always felt it's very bad form to yell at the people who are here because the people who are not here. But I'm going to just grab my little piece of paper. We're going to talk about the Torah portion. Here we go. All right, it's Ki Tisa. Ki Tisa isn't really bad. Ki Tisa is actually 1 week ahead of itself because next week is Shabbat Shkalim. And what would happen is the Israelites were asked to each donate a half shekel later on for the maintenance of the Holy Temple. The thing is this, it was also a way of taking a census. I think you should know that, very honestly, taking a census Dad, I said, how much money do you make? Never mind. How can't you tell me approximately? Listen, it's all right. There's bread on the table. I'm sending you to Yeshiva High School. It's really okay. Well, similarly, going back to ancient times, if you gave the number of what you had, whether it was cattle or money or concubines, you could never have too many concubines, it wasn't good because a plague would follow. This became so well known that to this day, if you do the Tachanun, if you do that very depressing prayer at the end of the davening, it begins with a verse, Vayomer David el Gad, Sarli Mahod Ibnana Ki Birachamav, meaning God, that's not God, it's God, G-A-D, goes to David and says, I understand that you took a census. And David said, yes, I need to know how many people I can call upon in the event of war. And God says, well, God, I don't know why they didn't call him Steve or something, God is not happy with what you did. So you have your choice. The trouble can come either from God, usually in a plague, or it can come from human beings. So you decide what sort of punishment you want for the sin of taking a census, for the sin of counting the people. And David says, again, it's right there in the prayer book, you can look it up, I would rather have the plague from God, because if you pray to God, God will be merciful. But human beings are very often not merciful. And I suppose the lesson of the 20th century is that we have to learn mercy. We have to learn compassion. I've been repeating myself about this for a number of months now. But how do we prevent another tragedy, such as one that befell us, that our speaker Mitchell spoke about this evening? It's very simple. If you're walking in the street and coming towards you is someone you do not recognize, just say, good morning, or hello, or how are you? The point is we are all made in God's image, and we have to understand this clearly. Otherwise, we start to classify people according to race or ethnicity, ethnicity or something else or political party. That's why we have to say hello. It's very simple. Okay, what else have we got here? Oh, Betzalel and Aholiab. Moses has to build the Mishkan. He has to build the sacred dwelling place in the wilderness. It was really kind of complicated. You've got a tent, and the tent is covered with dyed sheepskins and something called a tahash. And this has been translated different ways. We've discussed it in the past, meaning a dolphin skin. Well, I don't know if they had dolphins in the Nile River, but they did have something that scholars are pretty well agreed was the tahash. It was a sort of manatee that was known as the dugong. I'm not going to sing this song. I've been singing this song for weeks now. But that went into the building of the tent. What's inside the tent? It's a box. It's a wooden box covered with gold inside and out. And what's inside the box? The first set of tablets, which Moses broke, and the second set of tablets, which Moses carved himself, and which he brought down to the Israelites to replace the first set. And the rabbis tell us that the reason the broken set was in the box, we put on the AC a little bit. The reason the broken set was in the box is because if somebody was a Talmid Chacham, if somebody was a wise person, and as the years go on, for some reason, they lose their memory, they forget things. This has been happening to me. The line is, if you go into a room and you can't remember why you're there, that's okay. If you go into a room and you don't know you're in a room, that's not okay. All right. Besides that, they had the brass altar, and that is where the sons of Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Itamar, I memorized that for the final, offer sacrifices. And around the whole affair is a fence made out of linen cloths. Now, according to the Torah, when they escaped from Egypt, there were 600,000 men. And Moses has all these guys in front of him, and he says, which of you is handy? Which of you can build the Mishkan? And two guys put their hands up. That says something about Jewish men and their ability to put something together. But the Jews are special because we all know somebody. I know a guy. But if somebody says to you, could you give me the name and number of your guy? They get very scared looking at it. Oh, he's not doing it anymore. Or he's divorced. He left the country. I can't give you his number. So Betzalel and Aholiab are set to building the entire Mishkan. What's significant, though, is Betzalel. If you've been to Jerusalem, anybody been to the Betzalel Art School? Okay, it's a very popular destination, I can see. But there's no Aholiab annex to the Betzalel Art School. It's very strange. All right. Moses has got to go up on top of Mount Sinai and meet with God. This is really, in and of itself, not unusual. We have an inscription, for example, showing King Hammurabi, the king of the Assyrians, standing in front of Shamash, the sun god. So getting your laws directly from a deity, whether it's Jewish or not, is not unusual. But the point is this. Moses is 80 years old. He goes up on Mount Sinai. He doesn't eat. He doesn't drink. He doesn't do anything else for 40 days and nights. And according to the Midrash, according to the legend, the angels, now the Torah, you should know, existed for 400 years before creation. You see, I alternate on whether I believe these things or not. I think it's a beautiful story. If you can learn something from it, it's fine. And the angels give God and Moses a terrible, terrible time. They say, God, don't give the Torah to human beings. And God says, why not? They say, because it says, do not lie. And sadly, as we all know, human beings do lie. Not all of them, but once in a while, a little white lie, whatever it is. It also says, do not steal, and human beings steal. And so on and so forth. The angels go through the whole list. And then God turns it around on them. See, this is the Jewish aspect of God. I love that. I'm not saying God is Jewish, but hey, why not? Okay. God says, tell me what else the Torah says. And the angels say, observe the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Do you observe the Sabbath, says God? And the angels say, no, I guess not. Do not commit adultery, God says to the angels. When I was teaching Hebrew school years ago, I had a teacher who based her entire curriculum on the Ten Commandments. And she came to me one day and said, Rabbi, we're supposed to do adultery today. How should I explain to the kids, don't commit adultery? And I said, tell them it's something that adults do. That's why it's called adultery. So somehow she got past it. Moses gets his 10 Commandments, and they're as light as a feather because he's so full of spirituality and ruach and all that good stuff. He comes down and he runs into Josh. I love Josh. You gotta love Josh. Moses is a very hard act to follow, and it might as well be Joshua. And Joshua says, Rabbi Moses, Rabbi Moshe, it's such a pleasure to see you. What's that noise in the camp? Yeah, says Joshua. You know people like this, they try to put a good face on everything. They're incurable optimists, okay? See, I'm Jewish, so what I do is I worry all the time. That way, if something comes up to worry about, I'm all warmed up and ready. See? Joshua is not like this. Josh is an optimist. And he says, clearly, Moses, it is the joy and the singing of the people who are anxious to welcome you back to camp. And Moses says, nah. He says, it is not the sound of song. It is not the sound of rejoicing. It's the sound of Israelites doing stuff they really shouldn't be doing. So they go down from the mountain, and what do they behold? The Israelites are having an orgy. Now, generally, an orgy is very easy to prepare for. You don't even have to get dressed. You bring the chips, I'll bring the dip, we'll be okay. But they blame this one. See, they don't want to blame the Jews, because we are Am Kadosh v'Goy Kadosh. We are a holy nation, we are a chosen people. They blame the Erev Rav. They blame the mixed multitude that followed the Israelites out of Egypt. Now, I'm sure everybody here remembers the Carter administration and the Mariel boat lift. And when Castro, I'm not going to say let him rest in peace because he doesn't deserve it. When Castro let anybody who wanted to leave Cuba, and he was amazed at how many people packed their bags and left, he opened his jails, his sanitariums, his prisons, and let them all go. I believe that the Pharaoh, whether it was Ramses II or his son Merneptah, whatever it is, did the same thing. So this Erev Rav, this mixed multitude, which follows the Israelites into the wilderness, they are more or less guilty of enticing the people to the golden calf. One more thing, I'll talk about the golden calf real quick. A God needed a vehicle. A God needed to sit on something. And just in the Torah portion prior to this one, what does God decide to put on top of the box? The Holy Ark. What goes on top of the Ark? Come on, you saw the movie.
Cherubim.
Cherubim. Right, very good. 2 cherubim. Angels facing each other, wings outspread. They are meant to be God's footstool. Instead, the Israelites build a golden calf. They believe because Baal, the thunder god of the Babylonians, he rode on a bull as a symbol of potency. Similarly, the Israelites built a golden calf for their God to be seated upon. So the question here is not just that of sin, it's following instructions. When they tell you to do something a certain way, you do it. If you're supposed to build cherubim, you build cherubim. If you're not supposed to build a golden calf, you don't build a golden calf. And it's remarkable how many golden calves there are. Just finish with a quick story. This is, I did a wedding in Singer Island. You know Singer Island? Singer Island is where God would live if he had the money. And I'm driving through the poor part of Singer Island, which is where live the folks who do the work on Singer Island for the better off folks. And I drive over the causeway. It's really very gorgeous. And I park my car and I go into the lobby. And I say to the desk clerk, I say, "Hi, I'm Rabbi David Mark. I'm here to do a wedding." "Oh, yes, sir. Yes, Rabbi. You can just look out the big window off to the side. And you'll see how we've got the great lawn set up for the wedding." So I took a look through the window. And I saw, and this is exactly what happened. You had the chuppah, of course. You had the space for the bride and the groom, of course. And over here you had a big, bright red Corvette. And it was set up so that during the ceremony, if the groom got tired and bored of looking at the woman with whom he hoped to spend the rest of his life, he could turn his head a little bit to the left and see his own personal golden calf, his bright red Corvette. Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos. Thank you so much. My cantor, not my cantor. I don't have a personal cantor. He's a lovely man.
I am your cantor.
No, yes, but you don't go home with me.
No.
This is Cantor Javier Smolars. He's the newest member of our temple personnel, and he's a wonderful, wonderful man. It's a pleasure to work with him. And I'll pay you later. Or you'll pay me. Good idea. Good idea. Now
Okay.
all right, we're starting with the Baruch. We're starting with the evening service. You'll find that in the usual place.
Page number 28. This is the invitation to pray.
Please rise and bow towards the ark.
Baruch et Adonai Yamevorach. Baruch Adonai Le'olam Vaed. Baruch Adonai Yamevorach. Le'olam Vaed.
Reading silently on page 28.
Adonai Tsevaot Shemo El Chai V'Kayam Tamidim Lo Chalenu L'Olam Vaed Baruch Ata Adonai Amarim Arabim.
Page 29, above the line.
Avat Olam Beit Yisrael Avcha Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otaru limadta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu B'shachmenu u'b'kumenu Nasiach v'chukecha Nismach b'divrei Toratecha ובמצוותיך Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Amen. Page 30, we cover the eyes to show that God cannot be seen. We'll do the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shekhavod Malchuto Le'elam Goed. Let's read the English paragraph. On the left-hand side, you shall love. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day you shall take to heart. Teach them diligently to your children, and recite them at home and away, night and day. Bind them as a sign upon your hand, and as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. Please read silently to the bottom of 30. And 31, you could read silently the tzitzit paragraph.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 32, middle of the page, prior to the Milchamocha, which is transliterated.
ומלכותו ורצון קיבלו עליהם, משה ובני ישראל קראנו שירה, בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם, מי רחוק ברגל מרדכי, מי רחוק נדר בקודש, נורא ואירות, אוסף לב. מלכותך רבה לך, כי הימים נגד משה, תני עלו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ומלכיפת אדוני יעקב, וכי הלום יד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
At this time on page 33, on the top left, I'd like us all to be mindful of the folks we know and needed for Sholom. Any friends, family, Jews, Gentiles, anyone at all whom you know personally, and they're in need of a Sholom, a quick and speedy recovery. And we'll read together on page 33, the top left, the English paragraph. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace, and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God. who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise to you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, over Jerusalem and the entire world. Ufros aleinu sukkot shalom lecha, baruch atah Adonai. Shrei sukkot shalom aleinu v'al kol ha'amo Yisroel, v'al Yerushalayim, v'al kol ha'olam kulo. Amen. 34 is the Shabbat. Please rise. Shabbat, Bnei Israel, et ha-Shabbat, v'asazot et ha-Shabbat, v'dorotam v'ligdolam, v'shamru Bnei Israel, et ha-Shabbat, v'asazot et ha-Shabbat, v'dorotam v'ligdolam. I just wanted to explain what we're going to be doing next. If you finish the Amidah, you can turn to 47. Of course, the first paragraph is the one which the Torah recites to represent the conclusion of God's creation. But the bottom part is really kind of fascinating. It's meant to be a precis, it's meant to be a condensation of the Amidah. And customarily, somebody who came late to services would do that one in order to catch up with the congregation. Likewise, back in the Middle Ages, you had Jews who traveled, and of course this is before they had the Marriott, so the Jews would sleep in the synagogue. And they would do this particular Amidah, but the law was the rabbi had to stay in the shul until every traveler was finished davening. Or if somebody lived nearby, the rabbi would have to wait for them as well. Because if you left somebody alone in the shul, there might be demons. Okay, page 47.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאה ויקל אלוהים היום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים אשר ברא אלוהים
Be seated. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 52. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah, Amen. Yalmad yibrach lerutei v'yamlich machutei. V'chayechol v'mechol v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agalau v'zman karir v'yibru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach v'yolam u'leil maya. Yitborach v'yishtabach v'yitpo'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Kudashah B'rihu V'elah min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbachata v'nechamata Da'amiran v'yalma v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shalom HaRabba ben Shemaya V'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom b'Ramah U'yaseh Shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yal kol Yoshvei Tevel v'yimru Amen. Please be seated. Before the cantor leads us in the Adon Olam, we have a few announcements from our wonderful temple president, Ms. Rita Fleming-Klon.
Good Shabbos, everyone. Thank you. I'm so happy to see you all here, new friends from Federation who will, the next time I see you, be old friends. And that makes my heart very happy. We're all in a place I love very much, our beautiful sanctuary at Temple Sholom, with incredible clergy. We are so fortunate to have Rabbi David Mark with us, who, by the way, is going to be celebrating, or we are going to be celebrating his 10th anniversary with us next Shabbat. So please come and join us to celebrate. And as well, to celebrate Cantor Javier, who has brought so much joy and deliciousness to our shul, and Galia too, because every time she comes, it just gives everyone a lift. I want to tell you a little bit about what is happening in the month of March. We have a very exciting month happening. Next Saturday, March 2nd, Rabbi's 10th anniversary. March 17th, Sunday evening at 7 o'clock, we are privileged to be hosting a film. It's called The Accountant of Auschwitz. It is a post-Holocaust film. It has not yet been released to the public, only to Jewish film festivals and museums. We are going to have a showing here on March 17th at 7 o'clock. The producer of the film, Randy Rogers, who is a dear friend to one of our wonderful members, Dr. Annette Baslow-Finger, is going to do a Q&A after the showing of the film. There is no charge to come. We ask if you feel to bring a donation to Temple. That would make us feel wonderful. But we want you to come. It's really going to be quite an event. We are involving other synagogues in the area, and now that we are a lively part of the East Broward Jewish community, of which I'm very, very and Megillah. So come in your favorite costume. I have mine, but I'm not telling what it is. Tomorrow, after our traditional service, Rabbi holds a class. And tomorrow's class?
Great Jewish debates. We're going to discuss whether Abraham was justified in sacrificing Isaac, his debating with God for the lives of the people of Sodom, and so on through the Tanakh. Not the entire Tanakh, but a good part.
Don't miss Rabbi's classes. He has that class every Saturday, and on Wednesdays, an adult Hebrew class, a modern Hebrew class at 4:30, a current events class at 7 o'clock. Cantor Javier has a class on Thursday. Our minions are Monday and Thursday mornings at 8:45. A wonderful way to begin a day with Cantor Javier. And on Thursdays, he does a class on
different tefillot and meanings of the tefillot of the Siddur. So we went through the Kabbalat Shabbat. Now we are going to go to the evening service, and then the beginning of the service in the morning, until we finish all the year, and then we start again.
Right. When Cantor Javier began this class on the Siddur, it really made it into something with tremendous depth, because these are things we've read since we're children and recited, and to really hear the depth of the meaning of each prayer and Cantor's take on it, it really leaves you with tremendous thought. So please don't miss anything that we do. I want to make an announcement. We have a birthday in the house. Today I want to say a happy, happy birthday to a very, very special woman who is Mrs. Vice President Carol Schroeder. Carol, many, many more happy and healthy birthdays. And my last announcement is from our sister shul, Temple Beth Israel, out west. Our last event with Temple Beth Israel was at the Dower Car Museum. It was a casino night, and it was fantastic. Next, 2 Saturdays, on March 9th, there is going to be a comedy show and an amazing raffle, not to be missed. There is a big poster out in the lobby on it. You can and little posters on the table, little postcards to take home. So take a look at that. We are very privileged to have this sister relationship with Temple Beth Israel, and we hope to have a sister and brother relationship with every other synagogue in East Broward. Thank you all for gracing my beautiful shul. Good Shabbos.
Good job. Okay. Who is a birthday person?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Carol. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, now we are going to sing Adon Olam, and then we are going to have a siesta. יברכך אדוני וישמרך,
May the Lord bless you and keep you.
יאר אדוני